On the seafront of Naples overlooking the polluted sunset fog, a short Argentinian man sitting cross-legged asked me for my lighter.
Good God Almighty. Like back in the
Before
old days.
booking the flight 3 days prior, I knew nothing about Napoli besides Diego Maradona, an Argentine football legend who Napolitani claim as their own. It's a working-class city, dense and sweaty, with a lot of hand gestures and attitude. You can tell without going to the rest of Italy that the other cities like Milan and Turin call it filthy, while the people of Naples will claim it's the best. As I was handing over the lighter to this cross-legged Lionel Messi-looking guy, I asked him, "How did you know to speak to me in English?" And he looked me up and down, shrugged, and offered me a cigarette from his pack. I hesitated, but then thought, no one knows who I am in Italy, and as I was taking a drag, this Turkish-looking girl walking by looked at me and went, She handed her mother her phone and we took a picture. She was about the same height as me and pretty enough that I flicked the Argentinian cigarette in the water before her mother figured out the camera was in selfie mode. As the Turkish girls walked away, he reached into his pack and told me not to waste another one. He was probably twice my age, but seeing this interaction removed any superiority complex. He told me he was an architect. He liked contemporary 70s design and hated the modern, minimalist corporate rectangles as much as I did. From him, I learned the connection between Naples and Argentina and the beauty of Italian architecture. I told him stories about my travels, and I could see in his face that he had done it before. The red and gray haze was dissolving over the water, and I noticed the streetlights for the first time. It was clear this interaction was the only one we would ever share. One of those completely circumstantial conversations that don't require editing. We went for a beer. I told him stories about women I can't tell men because it gets competitive and uncomfortable. Stories that you never tell women because they look at you disgusted. He laughed and traded similar stories. I laughed because he didn't care how racist or immoral anything sounded. His favorite type of women at my age were the rich divorcees of West Palm, Florida. Even though he was short back then, he had long Gustavo hair. I was like their prostituto. Bored Florida women with alimony money. I took a mental note when he said divorcees will recommend you to their friends if you play your role properly. When he heard how much I had spent on women during this trip, his respect turned to pity. We talked about our families and our failures relentlessly without fear of consequence.
The most truthful conversation I've ever had was with a complete stranger. I forgot his name and he never asked for mine.
There's a freedom in separating emotion from interaction, and speaking with no other motive than just genuine curiosity.
He recognized the level of anger in me that must have been familiar. Even though you might be right, your frustration will only summon more of it, he told me. You have to accept people for who they are. Change happens internally. Nobody wants to learn by force. People can't handle the truth.
Amalfi looks and breathes how I assumed it did 100 years ago. It doesn't want to change and it doesn't need it either. If you show up at a restaurant with the wrong attitude, they'll tell you you need a reservation even when you obviously don't. One look at the way a waiter moves and his 20 years of experience shows. He walks back inside the restaurant and you see that he will happily be doing this another 20 years. There's a certain comfort in accepting the reality in front of you, in embracing your immediate surroundings and becoming a part of it. It's much easier to do that in a place like Amalfi, that's so beautiful it inspired the Elf Kingdom in The Lord of the Rings. It's why I like the idea of leaving America, because I'm also leaving the people who eat the same exact egg and cheese sandwich with a light and sweet coffee from the same angry Arabic man at 9:15 a.m. every day. The more familiar your life gets, the more you fall into complacency. The truth is literally that we're animals. No homo sapiens. Monkeys with smartphones obsessed with power. It's eye-opening seeing all the Jesus in Italy because of the stark reminder of where Jesus even comes from. Personally, I'm Filipino, Haitian, and Hungarian. The Spanish gave the Filipinos Jesus, the French gave the Haitians Jesus, and the Jesus people wiped out all of my Jewish Hungarian family 80 years ago. Meaning the only reason I grew up eating Jesus wafers in catechism was because of old-fashioned gentrification. To this day, we still call the natives Redskin Indians because of a 600-year-old white mistake. Italy is one of the European countries that holds on to its traditions with nostalgia because those were its glory years. Back when sophistication led to exploration and meant the end of our animal lives. The natives didn't have one god with a beard. They danced for the sun and drummed for the rain. They didn't have guns and government. They had little dick skirts and spears. They sacrificed human heads for fun and raided other villages and basically lived like monkeys with language and spirituality. The truth is that power corrupted our animal way of life in the name of progression. But is it really better? We iron our shirts and we inject lip filler, but does that really mean that we're more evolved than an ape? The truth is hard to digest, so most people avoid its contemplation till death. The truth will make sane people insane. The truth causes chaos. Tom Waits famously said, "Reality is for people that can't face drugs."